In last week's study on Daniel 7, we have seen that God convenes a judgment in heaven just before the return of Christ. He does so because he wants to stand for his people in front of the entire universe. He justifies them. At the same time, he reacts to the religious political attack of the horn power. Now this week, as we study Daniel 8, we will see more details on the religious attack of the little horn, as well as on what God will do for the final phase of the atonement. So we see here in Daniel 8 that the little horn goes against three entities. It goes against the holy people. It goes against the prince of the host, the one who ministers in heaven, and then it goes against the sanctuary itself. Now the sanctuary is an additional detail to what we have seen in Daniel 7. In fact, the whole of Daniel 8 is kind of drenched into sanctuary language. The little horn attacks, for example, the Tamid. The Tamid is a Hebrew term which is used in Daniel 8:11. It's translated here in my Bible as the daily sacrifice. But in fact, the Tamid is much more than the daily sacrifice. The Tamid refers in the Old Testament Torah to many things which the priest, mainly the high priest, does on a regular daily basis. So it's the continual service of the priest which is attacked by the horn. And secondly, the Tamid in the book of Daniel seems to refer to the worship, to the continual worship of God's people as they worship God in heaven. So when the little horn takes away the Tamid from the prince of the host, it institutes a priestly host which counters the things that Jesus Christ in heaven is doing for us. In fact, it turns away our attention from Christ. It turns away our worship of Christ. And this is, of course, unbelievable. That's why in Daniel 8:13, one of the holy ones is crying out, "How long, O Lord? How long will this take place?" Now the answer is given in Daniel 8:14, "Unto 2,300 evening mornings, and then shall the holy be restored to its rightful place." Now the 2,300 evening mornings can be determined, fixed in history when that starts. We use Daniel 9 for that. In Daniel 9 we have several connectors to Daniel 8. So when the 70 weeks prophecy in Daniel 9 is given, it is connected to the time of the 2,300 evening mornings. This is done in two ways. First, the 70 weeks are a part. It's the beginning part of the 2,300 time prophecy. As in Daniel 9:24, it says literally that the 70 weeks are apportioned. So it is cut off the longer period. And the second important thing we need to know is that in Daniel 9:25, it is said when the 70 weeks begin. It begins with the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem. That will be done in the Persian time, as the 2,300 evening mornings also start in the Persian time. That's the ram, the symbol for Media-Persia. So we can pinpoint that time to the year 457 BC, because it is said in Ezra 7 that this decree happened in the 7th year of Artaxerxes, which is 457 BC. And because the 2,300 evening mornings need to stretch to the time of the end, as it is said in Daniel 8, it has to be interpreted by the day-year principle, which means that the 2,300 are in fact historical years, which brings us from 457 BC to the time of 1844 AD. So here starts the heavenly judgment of Daniel 7. Here starts what God is trying to do in the final phase of atonement in this earth's history. Now, what is maybe even more important than the time factor is what is the content. What is God doing there? In Daniel 8:14 it is said that the holy will be restored to its rightful place. Two important issues are here to be seen. First, the holy refers both to the holy sanctuary, to the sanctuary which has been attacked by the horn in Daniel 8, as well as to the people, the holy people. They are mentioned like this in Daniel 8:25. So the sanctuary as well as the people need to be restored. Now this reminds us of the Day of Atonement, because only on the Day of Atonement is both the sanctuary and the people restored to their place. Secondly, the verb there is an unusual term. It's difficult to translate. I translate it here with, it is restored to its rightful place. But in fact, it has a threefold kind of contextual meaning as you study that term in the Old Testament. It refers to restoration, it refers to justification, and it refers to cleansing. So it seems that God uses that term in Daniel 8 to encompass everything which needs to be set right. Everything which has been attacked by the horn is set right by that activity described in Daniel 8:14. This we justly call the Eschatological Day of Atonement. That's what God is doing in heaven from 1844 on. At the same time, on earth, there's happening something else. Because the truth about the heavenly sanctuary, the truth about the high priestly ministry of Jesus Christ, the truth about that God has started the heavenly judgment, that he is in process of coming back, that he began the last phase of his salvation plan, that needs to be preached, that needs to be proclaimed, that needs to be lived on earth. Now that's the challenge for us, for the Adventist movement. We have to proclaim this message. And at the same time, like those people on the Day of Atonement in old times, we have to be loyal to our God. Because loyalty and proclamation of what God is doing for us, that's all important for these days.